Hi, welcome to this overview of Accounting Principles 1. I'm Dave Aldridge. I'm your instructor this quarter. A little bit of background from me. I'm a full-time professor of accounting at Salt Lake Community College. I started my teaching career at the Minnesota School of Business in Shakopee, Minnesota. I've been doing this for 8 years. This is my full-time career. I'm very excited about it. I'm anxious to share with you some of the new design features I have in this course, and I'm really looking forward to helping you achieve success in this class. This again, Accounting Principles 1, AC110. This is a screenshot of our Blackboard course, and you'll see some policies, some announcements throughout the quarter. Please pay attention to those. I want to start, there's some instructor information syllabus. You should look at those. I want to start with the content, however. Course addendum and the late work policy. You really want to pay attention to the late work policy. It's different for every course. Every faculty has a different late work policy. I want everybody to read that because I don't like being put in a situation where I have to decide which student has an acceptable reason for being late and which one does not. That is frankly unfair to me. And so the late work policy takes that out of the equation. You have 7 days to complete the work. For whatever reason that you are late, you will have a 48-hour grace period, and if it's not in by that time, then the assignments are not accepted. So please be aware of that. There is a late penalty as well. So I want to talk about, as a course overview, Unit 1, which covers Chapter 1. We have our Unit 1 assignment, which is the textbook that we're using, and I have that textbook right here. This is a Accounting 9th edition, but from Pearson is the publisher, and it's Holmgren, Harrison, and Oliver. This is the last year this textbook will be used. The 10th edition comes out next fall, and I am aware of that because I've spent some time actually working with Pearson on trying to make some things better in their textbook. This announcement relates to our course in My Accounting Lab and how to register. By the way, this is not the actual course number for your course, so you make sure you use the course number that is posted in our specific Blackboard course. If you follow these instructions and register, what you're going to find is there are 3 options that come up when you register. You can enter the access code that came with your textbook. Your book bundle from the bookstore. If you purchased a used textbook, or you purchased a new textbook but it wasn't bundled, then you'll need to pay for the My Accounting Lab access code. And finally, if you are waiting for some money or some resources to come, there is a 17-day, please note that, temporary access for 17 days. So there's no reason why you can't start in this class right now. You can get temporary access, you can get the electronic textbook, you can do the homework. In fact, you need to do this. If you're waiting till next week to get started, you're already behind, and you're in serious risk of being unsuccessful in this class. Assignment C relates to the study plan. We'll talk about that when we get into My Accounting Lab. Okay, so I've prepared a lecture section here that I'm hoping is going to see some improvements in the overall scores in this class. What I've done is broken out the lectures into learning objectives. Your book goes into learning objectives. The homework focuses on learning objectives. So now your podcast lecture also focuses on learning objectives. And so these are fairly short, 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 8 minutes, things like that. Every once in a while something might go 12, 15 minutes. That's about the max that you'll see. And so what I'm encouraging you to do is watch the podcast on the learning objective, like this one, Learning Objective 1 through 3. Once you're done with that and you think you understand the material, then log into My Accounting Lab and complete homework S1-2 and S1-3. That is the best way for you to kind of modularize the information. Here's something you just learned, now go and do this assignment. Once you're done with that, you can come back and then do the podcast for the next learning objective and those next assignments. Each chapter has a demo doc. Some actually have more than one. The demo doc is kind of a comprehensive example of the big idea from the chapter. They're very good. They're very helpful. You ought to be watching them. You can access the discussion board here. You can also access the discussion boards here. Please be aware of the due dates for the discussion boards. Unit 1, Assignment A. So Assignment A is to be completed in My Accounting Lab. Again, you can see where I've referenced the learning objectives. And all the assignments of every unit are due Sunday at midnight, and that is midnight Central Time. So if you're in a different time zone, your due date would be slightly different. Your due date and time would be different. Assignment B. At least these early chapters all have an Assignment B that you need to complete in Excel and submit here in Blackboard. It is not a My Accounting Lab assignment, and you do not use information from My Accounting Lab. So this problem comes from our textbook. If I open to page 54, because I know that's what page it's on, page 54, I see problem P143B. Has all of that information, and this is the data that I'm going to use to complete this problem. The template has been prepared. If I slide down here, you'll see there is a working paper, a template in Excel. If you go ahead and open that, what you're asked to do is enter the beginning balances, then what is the effect on the accounting equation for each transaction, and then what is the new balance after each transaction. You work your way through that. Once you've done that and you've close that down, once you've done that and you've saved it on your computer, then you go ahead and upload it to me here with the Unit 1 Assignment B. You can just browse and attach it. Assignment C is some personal information for you. I'd like your phone number and a good time to call if I need to get a hold of you. There's an exam. Unit 1 has an exam on Chapter 1. So once you've done the homework, you've taken some practice quizzes, which I'll show you where those are, you feel like you understand the material, then go ahead and do the Chapter 1 exam. If you feel like you need some extra practice, come back to the podcasts and do the material again. And there are some additional learning resources. On Wednesdays, I'm going to post the solutions. Okay, your grades are all updated here in Blackboard. So now I want to go to My Accounting Lab. See if I can find that. Wrong one. Let's see if we can find it. Okay. So you type in My Accounting Lab, or the instructions you get tell you to go to Pearson, My Lab, and Mastering. Whichever you do, it all takes you to the same place. Again, the first time you come here, you need to register as a student. So follow that registration button. So you register as a student. Otherwise, after you've registered, you go ahead and click Sign In. It's going to open up your class. I obviously have a lot more classes. I'm going to go to this Accounting 110 Master course. Now, this isn't your course. This is the course I've created to create your course, so it still takes us through the same idea. The course home has the due dates of the assignments coming up, some progress you're making, and so forth. The first thing I want you to do is run the browser check. The browser check shows if you have the right free software to run My Accounting Lab. If you get a blue check mark, that's great, you've got something. If you get check version, no problem, you've got it. If you've got install anywhere over here, go ahead and install that software. You're going to need it. Once you run the browser check the first time, you don't need to run it again. But that's per computer. So if you do this at home, run browser check. You're going to later do homework at work, run the browser check. All right, let's click on the homework. There are some optional assignments here, so I've given you some additional resources, including, by the way, a practice problem for assignment B. Let me give you a little bit of a warning that the assignment B practice for chapter 1 is sometimes confusing for students. I will admit it's not the greatest practice problem. I don't want you to be discouraged, because beyond that, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, all of those are very good practice problems, and you probably ought to be using those. What is required is this assignment A, required homework. I'll click on a problem that I've been working on, apparently unsuccessfully. And I want to show you a few things here. You get to check your work 3 times. So you check answer, that's not right. Put something else in, check answer, shows you what the right answer is, and then it opens up the next section. So it'll show you if you got it wrong, there's a red mark. It shows you the correct answer here, and then if you hover over it, it shows you your answer. A couple things to look at. Students love help me solve this, so make sure you're using that if you have questions. What it does is open up a practice problem right over the top of yours. It gives you some more hints. In this case, it says, hey, remember that liabilities plus owner's equity equals assets. So if I'm going to go ahead and enter that, let's see, that looks like 61,000. I go ahead and check my answer. Nice work. And then it opens up something else. Once I'm done with the practice, I think I know how to do it. I hit close, right back to my problem, and go ahead and do that. The other thing to consider is Ask My Instructor. If you've got questions about a problem or answer you don't understand, click that link, type your question to me, and send it. That is very helpful for me. I get an email with your question and a link to exactly where you were working. And in fact, of course, you can save these and come back to them later. There are pre-tests and post-tests, so some practice quizzes. I encourage you to look at those. The study plan is where you can work on mastery. So as you do the homework and you do the practice quizzes, the study plan starts populating based on the learning objectives. What learning objectives you're mastering, which ones you need help on. And then you can work some extra practice problems in those areas. In addition to that, you can always come back to the podcasts and watch the podcasts on those again to help you understand the material better. Finally, there is an e-text, and click on that for the available e-text. All right. That concludes my overview for this course. I'm excited about this quarter. I want to help you be successful. In the past, this class has not been one of our more successful courses. I don't want you to get discouraged. I want you to keep working along. But this is a class you have to do the work. You can't show up Sunday night and think you're going to get it all done. That's just not how accounting works. It's a class in which you need to be building on during the course of the week. If you do that, though, this is a course that students can be very, very successful in and find enjoying. So I wish you the best of luck. Please let me know when I can help you.